Well, Charlie, welcome to New Zealand. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme.
Thank you, Alan, for having me here.
You work with the Mercy Mission in India,
yes.
and you've been working a lot in Orissa. Just explain to us the situation in Orissa, because I think we need to get some background here.
Situation in Orissa has a bit changed now from the persecution began in about, it was all in the last December, the persecution began with a problem with the Catholic rally there with a Bajrang Dal, a group of Hindu militants who didn't like it, and they were fighting, and this began. But then it went on very bad. And at the moment, the persecution as it is a bit reduced, and things are becoming normal in a sense, but that doesn't mean completely it's gone. There are in pockets, in some villages, some places, still the persecution is going on, but on the whole it has come down. But at the same time, the aftermath of persecution is the biggest problem for us today as Christians and missionaries, because there are about thousands and thousands of families who lost their homes, who lost everything they had, including except what they had on their body, the cloth. Everything they lost, they ran for their lives. There are more than between 50 and 100,000 people living in the makeshift tents, and they are scattered around. The government hasn't got much program for them. At the beginning, government really gave them some food and a bit of shelter and helping them, but now the government is not doing much. And as well as the churches and the missions, which contributed some at the beginning, now maybe lack of resources, I don't know, even they are also not doing much. Actually, nothing has done so far for anything permanent to rehabilitate them.
Because I mean, the Christian community in Orissa is actually quite small compared to, I mean, it sounds like big numbers, but actually compared to the number of people there, it's still quite small.
It's very small. It's a Hindu state. And of course, India is a Hindu nation. You know that 90% of our nation is Hindus, and it is at about 11 to 12% of them and rest of them are Muslims. And rest of them comprise the Buddhism, Jainism, all other religion, and including Christianity, which is known, according to the census of India, Indian government give the statistics about 3% Christianity in India. And whereas in Orissa, it's not more than 1% the Christianity. Most of them are Hindus, or few Muslims there. Mainly it's a Hindu state.
And yet the funny thing is, I mean, there was this persecution. Hinduism is a very tolerant religion. It isn't one
of course,
that tries to convert people to Hinduism. It's not one that has a problem with other faiths. So what went wrong? The
fact is that the Hinduism is a tolerant religion. All this history, traditionally Hinduism is not against Christianity. Even today, I would say maybe 95% of the Hindus are not against Christianity or any religion. It's a small group of people, politically motivated, religiously motivated, and a small group of people who is perpetrating this crime against the humanity. It's not just the Christians, what they're doing. So these people are creating the problem. It's not the Hinduism. So we are not against Hinduism. We know that Christianity is a religion of love. We love them. There are brothers and sisters as others, either Muslims or Hindus or Sikh, doesn't matter. We love people. That's what Jesus teaches us. So we are not against them. It is just a group of people who are politically motivated with the backing, I would say, of the state government, not the central government, state government. Because when it was going on, there were so many police around them. They were just watching, had done nothing. Some of the incident that happened is heartbreaking. The human mind cannot accept it. You know what I mean? We can't accept how a human can do such an inhuman things against other fellow men.
There's a lot of almost media spin as well. You were telling me earlier on about someone was killed while they were trying to pull the cross off a church, and they died as a result. But that was turned round, so it seemed as if it was the Christians' fault that had happened.
Even the incident began with the killing of some of the Hindu sannyasi or the Hindu guru by somebody else. They just said it is Christian who did it. That itself is completely wrong. Christians never kill anybody. They did not want to do that. It's somebody else. It's a pre-planned program. It is that in this tribal district, about 60% of the population became Christian in a short span of time, which this Hindu militants could not take. So they wanted to stop the conversion. And even when government itself, or the government itself, as a state, they banned the conversions and even given the baptism. There is a rule, if you want to baptize somebody, you need to get a certificate of recognition from the court of law, which is obviously they want to stop the conversion, but nothing else. So that's what's going on. So what happened was, every time anything happened with Hindus, like a man who was trying to put one of their flag, the religious flag on the top of the pinnacle of the church, and he fell down and he got killed. And it's a Christian who pushed. Actually, no one Christian there. They were running away for their life. That's a fact, what happened. Yeah. So every blames are on Christians. Actually, Christians had done nothing there. This is all the blame. There's a girl who was working in an orphanage, a Christian orphanage. And she's only 19 years, 20 years young girl. And she had done no crime. Only the crime she did was she was looking after these orphans. They burned her alive. Very inhuman thing that I think should not happen in this modern age and time. Unacceptable to any human, anybody in this day. Yeah. Very unacceptable, very heartbreaking.
So there's obviously a huge need. What's Mercy Mission doing there? What can we do to help?
These people have no help at all from anywhere. And there are hundreds of children who are roaming around. If we do not care for these children, some of them may end up in wrong places. Some of them can be mistreated, can become child laborers, have no future. Only because they are Christian, because they believe in Christ. That's only the crime they did. Now they have lost their home, they have lost their place, they have no one to care for them. And we as a mission, Mercy Mission, because it's always been caring for the destitute children and the children on the street and abused and mistreated. That's our main ministry, because that's what I believe, because Jesus said, I desire mercy, not the sacrifice. You remember there was a verse in the book of James which says, the pure religion, the religion that pleases God our Father, is the religion that looks after widows and orphans. That's where I got this inspiration. So we would like to take care of some of these children and rehabilitate them, give them a place to live, give them clothes and the food, and give them education, bring them in the Christian atmosphere, give them a future.
Great. Well, it's fantastic to meet you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Alan. God bless you. Thank you. God bless you. Nice to meet you.